Hi everyone, my name is Jaison Mathew. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a WLAN inside Cisco Wireless LAN controller. When we talk about WLANs, we have three different options available in Cisco WLC, and that will allow you to create three different types of WLANs inside your WLC. But when we talk about WLANs, each and every options inside WLAN creation is a feature. So that feature need more explanation, and I will not be covering all the features in this video. I'll give a brief idea about how to create a WLAN and how to use that WLAN in your network with basic settings here, because I don't want to go in depth into each and every feature available in WLAN. As I said, each and every checkbox is a feature, so that is not easy to cover everything in one video. So I'll be covering that in different videos in future. So let me start creating WLANs here. So first what we have to do is just select this create WLAN, create new, then click go. When you click go, you will get a page to create the WLANs in controller side in GUI. But when you click on this option, you can see you have three different options available here, and by default WLAN will be the selected one, and you have guest LAN and you have remote LAN. So here I will start with WLAN. That's a WLAN used for the basic user connectivity. This is the WLAN we are using on our AP side. Let me just try to put some name. I'll give WLAN name as WLAN 1. Then SSID also I'll give it as WLAN 1. Okay, so let me create this. So for creating it, I'll click on apply. So now you got multiple tabs page that will allow you to create all the features and basically customization of the WLAN. So WLAN 1 is created with WLAN as an SSID. Then status is disabled. By default it will be disabled. You can enable that. Then radio policy, you can select what is the radio policy you want to use. That you can select, is it A only, AG only, or something like that. You have multiple options. So I'll explain what is the radio policy when we are covering the RF profile in the other video. Then interface, you can put an interface name here, or you can create a group of interfaces and you can map that interface here. That is based on your subnet requirement of your WLAN. You can choose that. If you have more number of users to support, you have to use an interface group. Then multicast VLAN features. So this is the same thing I told earlier. If you are selecting one checkbox here, that doesn't mean that it's a small thing. It's a feature. So you should know what is the feature all about in background. Then only you can configure these things. So I'll not go in depth for each and every feature. So I'll just skip this part in this video. So broadcast SSID, this is the one helping you to broadcast the SSID. If you want to hide the SSID in your network, you can disable this. So the beacons will not be going out if you disable this. Then SID, if you want to put an SID for this particular WLAN, you can set that. The next tab is for security. So inside security you have layer 2 security and layer 3 security, and you can also select what are the AAA servers you want to use. So in layer 2 you can choose any one of the options available here. You can choose none or any authentication method you want to use. So I'll cover this one in different video. Then fast transition, if you want to enable a fast transition feature, you can use this. PMF, WPA, if you want to enable WPA with WPA2, you can choose that, and encryption method you can choose. Then CCKM, Cisco proprietary one, if you want to use it, you can use it. Then PSK, if you want to enable PSK, you can give the ASCII key here, and you can choose ASCII or hexadecimal value. So based on that you can set it. So these are the options available in layer 2. And layer 3, the by default it will be none. you can enable web policy. When you enable web policy, you will get multiple options like web policy authentication. You can choose your authentication from webauth bundle uploaded into your WLC. Then you can also go for pass-through. It will just pop up some message and it will just go through that. Then conditional web redirect, then splash page. Some pages will display it in your system and you can go with that. On MAC filter failure, if you have MAC filter authentication enabled, and if that is fail, then layer 3 authentication will kick in. Then in pass-through option, you can also enable email input option. So in the pass-through page, it will ask for your valid email ID and it will just pass through that. And while doing this web policy, if you want to add any pre-auth ACL, that will allow you to stop the traffic going outside your limited range of IP on the server side. That you can choose that pre-auth authentication ACL. Only after the authentication, this ACL will be removed and the traffic will go through. Then next one is AAA servers. So in AAA server, you can choose what is the server order you have to apply on this particular SSID. So for an example, you can see you have multiple SSIDs, multiple AAA servers already there in your system. By default, the global configuration will be taken care. If you want to override that, you can choose the order here. So as per current order, we have 140.6 as a first one. If you want to change that order here, you can change that to 7, then 6. It's up to you. So you can add multiple radius servers on the controller side, but the order can be customized here. Then we have LDAP server configuration, the priority order for user authentication, which one should be used in background. Then server override interface. This one will allow you to override your radius server communication through your dynamic interfaces. So that is one of the feature. If you want, you can use that. Then next one is QoS. QoS, you can set your QoS a mode for your WLAN. If you are going to support this one with the voice, you can select the voice, gold, silver and all. By default, best effort will be the one selected here. Then AVC, if you want to enable application visibility, you can enable that. Then you can add AVC profile if you want to profile your AVC side. Then if you are going for Flex Connect AVC, you can choose that. Then this is the bandwidth contract. So basically this is the rate limiting available for your WLAN. You can set the rate limiting for your SSID side per user base and per SSID side. Then WMM policy, this one again depends on your requirement. You can select the WMM policy. Without WMM enable, some of the like the latest clients will not be able to support the 11AC higher rates, and also we have to find out what is the matching one for your WLAN. Then link policy. So if you have link server, Sky for Business kind of setup in your network, you can use this link policies on that WLAN. Then next one is policy mapping. You can choose policy mapping and add the policy here, and that can be uploaded in your WLAN. Then advanced page will give a lot of options, and some of them are connected to different features. Some of them are it's only specific to SSID. So first one is AAA override. So when we talk about AAA override, this is the one going to support you to override your current settings on WLAN with the AAA attributes coming from your authentication. So that means you will be authenticating, your client will be authenticating, and this one is enabled. You can enable interface changing, interface name mapping and all those things coming from your radius server. Based on your radius server configuration, your client will be moved into that particular VLAN or the interface mapped in that attributes list. So that is one of the option. And coverage hole detection, so this one will allow you to detect the coverage hole and react based on that. If you want to enable that, you can enable it. For guest SSID and all, we normally won't recommend to enable this because it's not that critical. You don't have to uh, like work on that to get the maximum coverage and all. So but in your corporate SSID, this is recommended to configure it. Then session timeout, by default it will be 0. That means it's infinity. You can keep the maximum session timeout. But if you want to set some specific session timeouts, you can set that here. Then Aeronet IE, this is the extension. We have it on the chipsets, wireless chipsets. So if you want to support Aeronet IE on the WLAN, you can enable this. Diagnosis channel, this is some of the feature we have in Cisco WLC for diagnosing your WLAN. But if you enable this, this one will change the entire structure of your WLAN, and this will allow you to connect a CCX enabled device into your system, and that will allow you to do diagnostics in your WLAN and give some reports based on that. So I don't want to enable that here because once you enable this, it will be used for a different purpose. So I don't want to enable that for any corporate SSID. And this I'll try to cover diagnosis WLAN in one of the other videos. Then next one is override interface ACL. So basically we have an ACL configured for interface. If you have a interface that is already have an ACL mapped to that interface, and you want to override for one particular WLAN, you can use this feature. You can select any other ACL into this so that it will override the interface ACL configuration. Layer 2 ACL, you can choose a layer 2 ACL here. Then peer-to-peer blocking. So this is one of the feature for blocking the peer-to-peer communication. So for an example, you have two clients connected to same WLAN and you don't want to enable communication between these two. You can choose this as drop. So once you select this one as drop, that means the communication between two clients inside WLAN will be dropped. It will not be able to communicate each other. Then next one is client exclusion. Client exclusion is the one we have a policies configured on the security side that that will allow you to choose a action based on multiple authentication failure or duplicate IP detection and all those things. So we have multiple options available. So for an example, if you have a duplicate IP coming into your system, you can exclude that client and keep it out from your network for 60 seconds. So based on this value here, it will keep that client outside your network so that you will not have any harm in your system. For an example, you have an authentication method configured on this WLAN and one client is coming with same authentication method, but it's continuously failing on that. So basically it's kind of a denial of attack kind of scenario. So what we'll do is this particular feature will keep that device out of your network for 60 seconds. Only after 60 seconds it will again give an authentication method. Then after 5 attempts it will again go into exclude list for 60 seconds. So you can select that value, how much time you want to keep this network client outside your network. Then maximum client allowed on your SSID, you can choose that. You have a small explanation given in below, so you can go through these options to get some basic idea how to use features. But as I said, each and every checkbox is a or combo box or the drop down list are a feature in background. So you have to learn how to use that feature, then you can do this. You can enable that based on your requirement. So I don't want to cover each and everything because this one is having a huge list of features here. So you can find these features in configuration guide or something, and you can learn how to enable that. Then Flex Connect related, if you want to enable Flex Connect feature, so all the basic configurations on Flex Connect will be coming here, and Flex Connect group related features I already covered in a different video, so you can refer that different video for more information on this. Then 11K related configurations. So I'm not going to explain each and everything because it will be a huge video, and I'll try to cover each and every feature in different videos. Okay, so I'll give one more item here. So this is the one used for universal AP admin. So what it can do is you can enable this universal AP admin for converting your universal AP into some specific RF domain. So I'll cover that in different video. Then client profiling, how to do the client profiling, how you want to do it, radius profiling, voice related features, load balancing, how you want to do the load balancing and band select on your WLAN. Then DTM period, how to set the beacon intervals on DTM period side. Then MFP configuration and all those things comes under this. So this is how you can DHCP server. This is the DHCP server override. So you have any DHCP server on your WLAN interface, and that you want to add like override that through a WLAN, that you can use that IP here, and it will be overridden on the other side. Then DHCP address assignment required. So if you select this, that means in this particular SSID you will allow only the clients coming with DHCP IP address. Whatever clients coming with static IP, it will not be accepted, and it will not be moved into run state in the client run state machine. So that is the way. So I'm going to stop first mode of WLAN here. So just click on apply, and so I'm not going to cover anything else in that. So the first type of WLAN is WLAN type is WLAN. First type of WLAN ID available in WLC is WLAN. So let me show you one more thing. So right now we created WLAN 1 here with SSID of WLAN here. So what I want to show is you can create multiple WLANs with same SSID. I'm going to create one more WLAN here. So I'll create it as WLAN 2, but I'll use same SSID as WLAN, and you can apply here, and you can see this WLAN is created and you are having same SSID here. So only thumb rule is you can create same WLAN, same SSID, you can create WLANs with same SSID, but make sure you are using different authentication method. If you have authentication method same as the above one, so let me try to enable SSIDs here. So this one I'm enabling it. Then second one I'm going to enable. So you got an error message saying that you have same SSID, but if you want to enable it, you have to choose a different security type in L2 security. So both the SSIDs are using same security type. That's why that error message is coming. So I'm going to change this one into a open WLAN. Then click on apply. Then enable it. So while creating, it will not ask anything because you can directly create it without enabling it. But if you want to enable it, you have to make sure both the SSIDs are using different authentication types. So let me create the next one. The next one is create new. The options are same. You click on create new, then create guest LAN. So this is the WLAN that supported in controller side, Cisco WLC side, to enable wired guest LAN. So when we talk about wired guest LAN, it's a big feature, but what I'll in simple words, this is the one going to support wired clients through your WLC. So this is kind of a guest access given through wired access. Then you can use that for giving some basic support on the wired side. This is not something recommended for a corporate network because there is a chance of opening your wired side through your WLC. So it's not recommended on most of the places, but there is an option to do that in your network. Then you can use that WLAN IDs. This ID is entirely different. This is not WLAN ID. So this is the wired guest access ID. So you can create up to five guest access SSIDs, not SSIDs, WLANs inside Cisco Wireless LAN Controller to support wired clients. So let me show you what are the options available. This one gives very less number of options. So as you can see here is that multiple tabs got removed. Some of the tabs are not even available, and you can see ingress interface. So this is the interface going to support your wired guest access. So to by default there will not be any interfaces for wired guest access, so you have to create one, and the other interfaces that is created for your WLAN will not be available here because we need a specific wired guest access interfaces to map it with a wired guest access. So let me show you how to create that interface. So go to controller page, interfaces, then you create a new interface here. Then I'm going to create wired guest LAN 1. Then let me put 500 as VLAN ID. Then click apply. So this is the basic interface creation model, but you have to check this particular checkbox, guest VLAN checkbox. Once you enable this, you can see lot of features got hidden in background. So right now you don't even have an IP address configuration here. So I'll uncheck this again so that you can see that. So this IP interfaces mapping here will be removed when we click on guest LAN. So basically we are looking for something like VLAN ID only. We don't need IP. So because we are supporting a L2 side through your controller, and that will allow you to create that. So let me click on apply so that we'll have a interface that can support wired guest access. So I'll click on apply, then that interface is created here. Then let me go back to WLAN and I'll go to guest LAN. Then now you can see wired guest access LAN is coming here. So only the guest access enabled WLAN interface is available for adding as an ingress interface. So what will happen is I will publish this VLAN ID on your infrastructure. Whatever clients getting connected to VLAN 500, our controller will proxy that VLAN. So whatever information is coming through that VLAN, our controller will give an option to authenticate using security modes configured here, and that will allow the wired client to log in into your network, and that client will be shown in your controller side. So let me show you other options like security. So this one in security, L2 security is not supported on wired client side. Then L3 you have very limited options. That is, one is none, open L2 L3 security. Then web authentication, you can choose what is the web authentication, basic web authentication. Then also you can use web passthrough. These are the only two security combinations available on wired guest access. Then authentication, if you are using web authentication and you want to customize your options on server side, you can use this tab. Then QoS also, you don't have multiple options. You can just enable QoS services, what is the type you want to select. Then AVC visibility on your guest access. You don't have any other options under QoS. In advanced also, you can see that lot of other options are removed. Not the other options, basically all your wireless related options are removed because it's supporting wired guest access. So MDA, you have override, AAA override. If you want to push some attributes, you can use that. Session timeout you can enable, and client exclusion is also you can enable. So whatever is specific to that without considering WLC wireless, those are the only options available on your wired guest access. So So this is the second type of WLAN you can create on controller side. Then third type is for OEAP support. So that is remote LAN. So this remote LAN will allow you to configure a LAN through your OEAP AP side. But here you can see this one is using WLAN IDs from the existing range, but it will not be coming as a first 16 supported SSIDs. But yeah, so this one is for supporting OEAP. The Cisco Aeronet 600 series APs can be used this feature, remote LAN. Inside this remote LAN also you have very limited options. So you have management, interface mapping, then security. You can enable security only on .NX side. Some of the features are not available on GUI to configure. If you want to configure those features, you have to go to CLI and do that, because GUI support is not available for all the small features available on remote LAN. Then L3 security, as I shown earlier on the guest LAN. So we have the same set of configurations available for layer 3. Then security, you can select your radius types here. Then QoS, again the QoS policy applying part is not available here. Only the AVC information and NetFlow monitor is available. So even QoS mark setting is also not available with OEAP support. Then AAA override, the basic wired features are available here for OEAP. And if you want to enable local switching, you have that extra feature available on this particular WLAN type, remote LAN type. So because this OEAP is basically a Flex Connect solution supporting one, so you have that capability of doing local switching, so you can enable that on remote WLAN. So these are the three different types of WLANs available on Cisco wireless LAN controller. But as I said in the initial stage, that we'll not be able to cover everything in one shot. So I'll be taking the major features, and I'll explain you in a different video here. And after this I will be posting the videos for AP groups, HTTP group, Flex Connect groups, and everything in upcoming videos. So just wait for the next videos for covering the feature specific training. Another thing is, when we talk about WLAN IDs, so let me just cover that. Here you can see you can support up to 512 WLAN IDs. So you can, first 16 will be coming under the default AP group. Then after that, if you want to customize your network, you can use that 512 WLANs. And this 512 WLANs will be sharing the IDs with remote LANs also. So that number is sharing in between. But guest access, you have 5 different numbers. So that is, one is already used, you can use another 4 here. So these are the basic things for WLAN, and hope this one will help you to create a basic SSID, and you'll be able to serve the clients using this information. So thank you for watching. We'll cover specific features in different video. Thank you for watching. See you in next video.